Easy Vipassana Overcoming Laziness. The direct antidote to laziness is effort. Our blessed Buddha himself taught that to be born as a human being is very difficult. If we compare the number of beings in the human realm to those in the lower realms, apaya, human beings are like a drop of water compared to the vast ocean. We are incredibly few. Today, the world population may be around 8 billion, but even this is nothing compared to the number of beings in the lower realms. It is much easier to fall into those lower realms than it is to be born as a human. So this human life is like a temporary visit, a rare and precious opportunity. But how long do we have? Compared to the lifespans of devas in the heavenly realms, our entire human life is worth roughly a single day in their time. Even a full year in the human world can feel like a fleeting moment upon reflection. Let's consider this. Up to 20 years of age, most of our time is devoted to learning and studying. Life moves from childhood to youth, then to old age, and finally ends with sickness and death. Just look around. We and the people we know are constantly attending funerals, aren't we? Death comes suddenly, without warning. And what are we doing? Standing in line, waiting for our turn. Death doesn't just come for the old. It comes for the young, the beautiful, the strong. Whenever the visa of human life expires, Mara, the Lord of Death, will be there to escort us. Whether we want to go or not, we must follow. That's the truth of life. It is impermanent, uncertain, and beyond our control. Being born as a human is a rare fortune, and encountering the profound teachings of the Buddha is an even greater opportunity. If we have faith, saddha, and wisdom, paññapanya, and use them wisely and purposefully, then it is possible to escape the suffering of the lower realms and the endless cycle of samsara. The path to liberation, the way to close the gates of the lower realms, can only be known when a Buddha arises and his teachings are spread in the human world. So being born human during a time when the Buddha's Dhamma is present is a golden, unmatched opportunity. We must acknowledge this, reflect deeply on its significance, and put more 43 venerable Ajahn Chaya effort into pursuing the path of liberation. When we do so, the disease of laziness will gradually lessen and eventually disappear. This is the truth. The lower realms, including hell, the animal realm, and the realm of hungry ghosts, are not unfamiliar to humanity. These realms represent the original homelands of many ordinary beings. If these concepts appear unfamiliar, it is primarily due to our lack of recollection of past existences. When we hear or read about the torments of hell or the suffering of hungry ghosts, we may only understand them intellectually, not viscerally, and because of that, we don't fear them deeply. Many murals on temple walls vividly depict the torments of hell and the suffering of hungry ghosts. These representations serve as reminders designed to encourage mindfulness and diligent effort on the spiritual path. Yet, despite all this, many people may think it doesn't concern them, as though these warnings are for someone else. But in truth, these depictions are powerful, thought-provoking lessons meant to stir up mindfulness and moral urgency. Samvega. They vividly show us the suffering one might face when creating unwholesome karma, urging us to avoid such deeds and to tread carefully on this path of life. Even if we cannot see the sufferings of all the lower realms, we can observe the plight of animals. Cattle like oxen, buffaloes, horses, and elephants live under human control, forced to serve, work, and labor, and in the end, many become food for humans, ending their lives in helplessness. The fate of many domestic animals is similar. Their life stories often conclude within the bellies of those who raise them. They may not live long, but even in their brief existence, we see them chasing moments of joy, conflict, desire, and survival. It's a sight that evokes deep compassion. Day by day, their lives are consumed by greed, lobha, anger, dosa, and delusion, moha. Their time passes without a single opportunity to cultivate merit or spiritual progress. Many aquatic creatures, large and small, are born only to be consumed by stronger animals or humans, barely living before they die. Wild animals in the jungle face immense suffering, filled with fear, danger, hunger, and death, struggling endlessly for survival. Strong creatures spend their daily lives preying on and devouring the weaker and smaller beings around them. For their mere survival, these weaker animals are forced to offer up their lives and bodies. 44. Easy Vipassana, becoming food and nourishment, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the stronger ones. Alongside their companions, the many creatures spend their days searching for food, all while constantly living in fear. Fear of being hunted, attacked, and eaten. They live their lives in a state of anxiety, always watching over their shoulders, and unlike humans, they rarely get the opportunity to grow old or die of illness. Most of them perish while they are still young and tender, falling prey to predators while barely experiencing life. The strong ones, in turn, use their natural weapons, teeth, claws, poison, horns, and brute strength, to sustain their existence. Their daily lives revolve around the cycle of greed, anger, delusion, pride, and wrong views. They live on instinct and impulse until, eventually, death comes for them as well. For many of these beings, their journey beyond death likely leads them to the realms of intense suffering, hellish realms, within the endless cycle of samsara. Once fallen into the animal realm, returning to a fortunate existence, such as human life, is exceedingly rare. That fact alone is both sobering and tragic. We have certainly been born as animals in some past life. To prevent ourselves from falling back into such an unfortunate rebirth, we must diligently cultivate wholesome deeds, gather merit, and practice with steadfast energy, without giving in to laziness or apathy. By reflecting deeply on the suffering endured in lower realms, such as hell or the animal world, our minds can awaken with compassion and insight. Contemplating these truths can spark the effort and determination needed to grow in virtue and develop our spiritual qualities. If we allow ourselves to remain idle and lack energy, we may inevitably fall back into those unfortunate states of existence. It's so important to treat ourselves with genuine compassion and care. Our blessed teacher, the Buddha himself, barely rested more than 2 hours daily. As his disciples, following his example is an honor and a responsibility. Out of reverence, humility, and deep respect, we should strive not to let laziness overcome us. We walk the noble path with energy and perseverance, just as the Buddha intended for his loyal followers. The noble disciples of the Buddha, arahants, and other noble ones, unceasingly practiced the Dhamma, tirelessly pursuing liberation. Due to their dedicated efforts, they transcended the cycle of rebirth and attained liberation from all forms of suffering. The Buddha articulated 45 venerable ajahn chaya that no achievement, whether in worldly or spiritual realms, can be attained without the application of energy and determination. This teaching has been reiterated on numerous occasions. For reaching higher realms and noble stages of existence, such as heavenly or enlightened states, unshakable effort is essential. For all who wish to rise above the mundane and attain the highest levels of life, may we all be filled with steadfast energy and perseverance in our practice. 46.